All right, well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Today, we're going to be looking at Watermain modeling and how to adapt gravity pipe networks using CTC's Pipe Designer. Pipe Designer is an add-on tool within Civil 3D from CTC software. My name is Alex Howlett. I'm joined today by Colin Gaudette. I am an account manager here, and Colin is one of our technical consultants from the civil infrastructure team. Colin and myself work with Civil 3D users to improve their day-to-day workflows through better practices with use of these CTC add-on tools. These tools help to decrease time spent on repetitive tasks, rework, they reduce human error, and they speed up both simple and complex processes. This will give you more time to take on more work, or it will make the work that you have right now easier. For today's agenda, I'm going to give a bit of an overview of SolidCAD, CTC, who we are, what we do. Then I'm going to hand it off to Colin, who will take you into the tool, talk about legacy pressure pipe networks, network setup tips, and CTC's design tools. If you have any questions, please add them to the chat. We will try to answer as many as we can at the end of the session. But if we don't get to yours, please take down our contact info that will be on the last page of this slideshow, and feel free to reach out to us after. So who's SolidCAD? What do we do? For 25 years, SolidCAD has been one of the leading Autodesk Platinum partners here in Canada. And we are the only Canadian-based Platinum partner for Autodesk and Bluebeam, and we are an exclusive CTC provider here in Canada. Our mission is to provide and deliver technology solutions and training that improve our clients' processes, workflows, and interoperability. What does it mean to be a Platinum partner? That means that we are operating at the highest level in our respective partner programs, serves as a message to all that SolidCAD provides top service and industry expertise and delivers that value to our customers, as well as expertise and certifications. To become and remain a Platinum partner, we must maintain a certain number of clients, have authorized Autodesk training techs and facilities all across Canada. Big map of Canada. With respect to training, our facilities and offices are located across the country. We employ one of the largest teams of industry technology experts in Canada, and they support all Canadian time zones and in both official languages. Me and Colin are both in one spot, though. We are in Eastern time zone. We're near Toronto. So we're not representing Canada here very much, but the average tech on our team has over 15 years of industry experience, and I promise they do exist all over Canada. SolidCAD specializes in technology that supports multiple industries, including architecture, engineering, construction, manufacturing, and our focus, civil infrastructure. Please note that we are software agnostic. This means that we provide a full software solution. We have partnered with leading software developers such as CTC. So it means when we're looking to build a solution for you, we have a deep portfolio we can pull from. Setting us aside from all other service providers is our large range of service offerings. We are much more than a software reseller. We provide our customers with support to answer those why questions, training and consulting to answer those how questions. And we also host events like this one. We host workshops, boot camps, networking events, and other webinars to educate our customers and prepare them as their business and technology changes. And this brings us to CTC software. CTC software is at the forefront of advanced productivity tools and worldwide leaders in BIM technology. They're a member of the Autodesk Developer Network and have been making add-ons for Revit and Civil 3D since 2010. These tools are used by more than 40,000 users globally and are in more than 75% of the top firms in the United States alone. SolidCAD is committed to providing our clients with industry-leading solutions such as CTC, and we're excited to show you how we can help. So I'm going to hand it over to Colin now to get started into the fun stuff.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Alex. I'll steal it from here. So getting into what CTC is offering in terms of a civil and infrastructure world, more so talking about Civil 3D. CTC's got two different sim project or sim suites that they have available for the Civil 3D world. So they've got the Sim Manager suite as well as the Sim Project suite. So the Sim Manager suite is more so meant for some of that template enhancements and more efficient template manipulation and control and management. And then your project suite is a lot more of those, a variety of tools for those kind of day-to-day uses and tools like that, from everything from pipes to grading to corridors, labeling, and sheet generation. Today, though, we are going to be talking about Watermain modeling with some of these CTC tools. And as a brief kind of history, when we talk about kind of legacy pressure pipe networks, up until 2021, there had not been many updates to them. They were supposed to be the tool of choice when we're talking about pressurized networks, be it force mains, water mains, gas mains, or even simply just hydro ducts and things like that don't need to worry about slopes and catchment areas and things like that you would in storm or sanitary. The issue with this is from Civil 3D 2020 and earlier, there was not a lot that kind of got put into these. They were almost put in there as a placeholder, it seemed, because there was next to no parts. They were not easy to edit and very restrictive when you start to go lay things out. They did still produce three-dimensional pipe networks, but we didn't have a lot of flexibility with them. As a result, what were we left with is different consultants kind of had different solutions. Some consultants would just opt to do their best with these pressure pipe tools. Other consultants would call it just, we're going to draw it in manually because these tools are not worth the hassle. And other consultants yet are going to talk about kind of the workflow that we've adapted today, which is doing all of their water main design with gravity feed networks. And now the gravity feed networks, they're a little bit better. They are still, just like the pressure pipe network, still purpose-built parts. You get lots of metadata behind the scenes, but you still do have fairly rigid reports and tables, and they're not meant for water main at the end of the day. So the editing tends to be a little bit more time consuming. And when you're expecting for your design to be an iterative process, it does not allow for that come back and quick kind of edits and tweaks to those pressure pipe networks, or to those pipe networks, be it storm sanitary or if you're using them for water. I like to go through a little bit when we're talking about kind of setting up these networks. I tend to kind of steal this from other presentations because I think this is really valuable information. When we're talking about setting up pipe networks, we want to make sure that we're using a clean template that's actually got some of those pre-made networks in it. And then we want to use a separate drawing that we can take all of our pipe networks into. If we're just simply doing one single run, or if it's a small site design that has a couple catch basins in it, maybe we don't need that separate pipe networks drawing. But otherwise, we're putting a lot of metadata into Civil 3D. We're putting a lot of objects into Civil 3D. It could hinder our performance as we're navigating around the drawing. So the use of data shortcuts gives us that opportunity for multiple people to work on a project at the same time. Some people doing grading and other people working on these pipe networks in a separate drawing, for example. And two, it takes off some of that strain on the processing power of Civil 3D. Now, when I talk about having a template with pipe networks already set up, this is a great way to save some time. When we're talking about our pipe networks in a template, you can already have a lot of decisions made for you already. So I always encourage people to put pipe networks or shells of a pipe network in your template with no pipes, no structures or anything like that, just in there ready to go. Because then you can decide things like the layers, the surface that it's going to be referencing, the names, the type of network that it represents, be it a drainage or a sanitary network or whatever the case. You can have all of those decisions made. Someone isn't guessing what layers things need to go on, and it helps you better adhere to your CAD standards as an organization. Jumping into the CTC tools though, I'm going to couple more slides and then we'll get into what we're actually doing here with this kind of niche little workflow. CTC tools are going to help us with that, particularly Pipe Designer, but I'll touch on Pipe Planner as well, that integration into Excel. This is great for editing and designing pipes by run, and then taking that analysis and being able to edit and make analyses and charts in that in Excel, pulling it out with Pipe Planner as well. There's a lot more flexibility for part swapping and renaming and other metadata that we can access in here as well. So with that, let's flip into Civil 3D and we'll take a look. I have a subdivision design here. Now, this is in Civil 3D 2020, and typically with the pressure pipe networks, this is the ribbon that you're going to see. Now, I've got a small pressure pipe network over here just to talk about how weird and inflexible it is. So one, when we're dealing with these pressure pipe networks, you're dealing with individual pieces. They have this deflection, but if it wasn't for this deflection right here, when I go and add pieces, I am restricted to the different angles representing the different bends that I have in my catalog. I don't have a lot of flexibility in here. I don't have a lot of parts. In fact, when we're talking appurtenances, I don't even have a hydrant in here in the out-of-the-box catalogs that Civil 3D provides. So like I was mentioning, a lot of people do away with that, and they're going to try and access or model all of their pipe networks or their water mains using gravity feed networks. So I'll close out of this and I'll go through the process of how I like to model my water main using gravity feed networks. For starters, I've got a drawing here that has a storm sewer and a sanitary sewer already in, and some blue feature lines representing the layout of the water main. So this is the way I do it natively here. I already have, if I go into my prospector tab, I already have a water proposed network. Now, this is that pre-configured network I was talking about. So if I expand this out, there are no pipes, there are no structures. Network properties. It's an undefined network, but I've started to set the labels that I'd like, the parts lists that I'd like, the surface, maybe some of the layers, and naming templates for all of this. So these are all individual decisions that you'd have to set before you could actually design the pipe networks. So I've done all of that stuff for us already, and that would be saved in a template so that it's already done every single time you start a project. Now, just to get a full understanding of where my parts lists are coming from, I've grabbed the simple out-of-the-box catalog, and I've named a parts list water main. I've got some PVC with a style and no rules. The rules is very important. We're not worried about pipe-to-pipe matching. We're not worried about max and min slopes. This is a pressure network that we're just trying to model using gravity feeds. So you don't need any of these rules. Structures wise, all I need is the null structure. And in fact, I need it on a no display style because I don't want to be displaying that when I'm modeling it. I need that to make sure that all of my pipes stay connected together, but that's it. And again, no rules. From there, I like to lay out my networks with either polylines or feature lines. And now in this case, I find it most useful to put in elevations at an interval. So once I've got my feature line laid out here, I'll come in and insert elevation points. Add an increment of, and if we're going to reflect the modeling to the best capability we can in terms of constructability, or depending on how we'd like to show elevations in the profile, I would either put this in at pipe lengths, or if I know that I need to show this at 10-meter intervals, for example, if I need to show the elevations at the top of the pipe in my profile bands, I would add elevation points at a distance of, let's call it 10 meters. It adds all of these in. Now, this is crucial to do beforehand, because the next step that I like to do is come down here and create pipe networks from objects. I'll pick my pipe network, or I'll pick my feature line that I've got here. Click enter. And off the hop, it's not going to use my, my pre-existing pipe network that I've created. Now, I'll just set this exactly the way I want it. And I'll use the elevations from that feature line. So I didn't show you there, but I've actually applied the top of the road minus 2 meters to that feature line. I'll use that as the outside top of the pipe and click OK. That's going to create a pipe network that perfectly follows the top of the road right now. But it's not using my water proposed. So we're going to leave that alone for a minute. I'm going to add a couple more here. So pipe network, create from object. I will select another feature line that I've got around street 2. I can set all of this, the Watermain. It's still going to be a 150. I may not be sizing that correctly, but we're going to leave it like that. And road top. Click OK, and we'll create this one as well. And it'll take a little bit longer because we are creating a pipe network with a fair bit more pipes in it because we're splitting it up. We'll do the same thing up here. So I've got another feature line. Create from that feature line right there. Enter 150. And we'll use that top of pipe for the elevation again as well. This is the best head start that we can get ourselves for creating and modeling our water mains using gravity feeds. At this point, I should have all of these in my drawing at the correct elevations to put into all of my profiles. Now, bear with me, because one of the things I like to do, I'll select similar to grab all of those pipes, and I will isolate objects. This might take a couple seconds, but when I isolate the objects, at the end of the day, you go get a coffee, come back, for example, you've isolated all of those objects. It becomes so much easier to be able to add those objects to your profile views. Becomes so much easier to select. I can come in here, 1 and 2. See, I've grabbed all of those. Right click, draw in profile. And then it's just a case of selecting right here. We've got a couple misfits that we'll just remove. There we go. Right click, draw parts in profile. Select my profile here and they're in. We'll do the same thing. This one might be a little bit trickier to grab. But again, 10 times easier with these objects isolated, as opposed to trying to sneak around the other pipe networks that we've already created and everything like that. So that is, for me, the most efficient way to do this. I'll right click, I'll come up and end my object isolation. So If I did this correctly, these should all be in at the correct elevations, ready to go. The only issue is now that I've unisolated things and I can see my FG surface, I can see that my actual pipe or my feature lines that I created my pipes from were not at the correct locations. They were not at the right elevations here. So I'm left with an issue. And this is where CTC's tools come in. This is a great way, my workflow up until now is a great way to do things right off the hop. What happens if you have iterations? Because you're always going to have slight adjustments in the road. You're always going to have potentially having to enlarge or decrease the size of that water main. Now that this is multiple little pipes, I can display everything nicely because I've got a band style that will show me the end of each pipe. So I'll come in here and edit that really quick. But I don't have right here, water prop. I don't have the ability to edit these at mass to update the elevations. Now, I realized I missed one step here, crucially, which is I did not add all of my blank networks here or all of my unnamed networks over to this one. So the downfall of creating pipe networks from objects is you create it one run at a time and it drops it in a new network for you. Civil 3D has a great tool called Merge Networks. When you click Merge Networks, which one would I like to merge? Any of these numbered ones here. And where is the destination? I will merge it into my water prop. And just like that, it'll take all of the pipes and structures, all the pipes and null structures, and drop them into water proposed. Merge, there, and there. And just like that, I've merged everything into this one right here. Sorry for missing that step. There. So back in this world, how do I fix the fact that my objects that I created this from weren't at the right elevation? Natively, a couple options and a couple not so good options. You can select them and move them individually, or you can delete them all, put your elevation on your object, your feature line right off the hop, and then update it. Or using the CTC tools, using Pipe Designer right here, we have a great tool to edit all of that. So what Pipe Designer does is it grabs the starting element and the ending element. It connects everything in between. And when I press enter, I can select them in plan or profile. But when I press enter, it gives me an Excel-like interface to go and edit all of the elevations and slopes within these pipe networks. It's a great tool for editing storm and sanitary because I get to see all of the different slopes right off the hop. I can see how they all connect together. I could go and just manually punch in, I need this to slope at -0.5. Hit apply, and it's going to write that out to your pipe networks. This only works for gravity feed networks. This only reads gravity feed networks. So we're lucky that in this type of workflow, we're creating our water main using gravity feed networks. Now, slopes are not what I care about with my water main. What I care about is making sure that I've got cover underneath my actual surface. That's where this guy comes in right here. This tool was added to Pipe Designer so that it can model our water mains using gravity feed networks. I can automatically set the minimum cover to 2.0, where I am at least. I can click the button. It will update all of my elevations. Nope. If they're referenced to a surface. Want to cancel? Yes. So here's another great tool. We can go to Parts Tagger. I forgot to reference these to a surface. I'm sure that's happened to almost everyone before. So I can select this. I grab any pipe or structure, and it'll open up Parts Tagger on a different screen. So I can go add all parts, or I can select by network. And I can select all of the parts in my water proposed. Now I've got what makes a little bit more sense, 132 little sections of pipe. Now I can add my reference surface right off the hop. I can also update other things like my Manning's coefficient, descriptions, and even more for structures. But all I needed was that surface. It'll take a minute to apply it, but it applies it to every single pipe in that network. Now we can go back to Pipe Designer, select the extremities or the extents of that pipe run, and use the little tool I was trying to use in the first place. This can save you a ton of time and a ton of headaches when you're getting into pressure pipe networks, especially in legacy versions of AutoCAD. When I'm talking legacy versions, 2020 and earlier, you're not able to use pressure pipes to the fullest extent. So these tools become very, very handy. It wrote this all out. It updated the crown of every single one of these. All I do is click apply. And it's going to write out and perfectly drape this at 2 meters underneath. Now, where it checks is just at the start and end of each pipe. So it was crucial in my workflow that I gave this a lot of segments here. I'll click OK. And let's update down here in my pipe band. So I'll go to my profile view properties. This is the data band I want to edit, and I'll update the source information right there. Click OK, and it's going to update with all of the elevations of each of these pipes. Now, I should have updated this slightly differently so that it only shows the end of the pipes, and I think I have that in this version here, so that it only shows the end of each of these pipe sections very nicely as the water main top. So that's the workflow for modeling our water mains with Pipe Designer and gravity feed networks. At this point, let's pop back to the PowerPoint, and I'll ask Alex to jump back in to maybe wrap us up.
Of course. Okay, let me pull up my slideshow.
Oh, did you want to share?
Oh, you have your screen up. I'm sorry.
No worries.
So Colin had our socials up there, but here's our contact information. If you have any questions that come up after this session, take these down and you can give us a shout. Otherwise, if you have any questions right now, just throw them into the chat. We were able to answer a couple as they came up during, but anything that you have pressing right now, we can take on. If not, we can wish you all a great day. Stay warm. I'll give it one more minute and then we'll close this out. And then I think I'll also invite everyone, I think we have a couple more sessions of the CTC tools. We also have a couple sessions that we did before this that are recorded. So I welcome everyone to pop onto our YouTube page, check those out. You'll see me making a couple cameos. Colin was running a couple. So if you look forward to seeing our faces again, you can find them online. All right, no other questions right now, Colin. I think we're safe to close it for now. But yeah, again, everyone, if you want to take down our info, feel free to reach out to us after with questions.
Excellent. Thank you all so much for joining us. And absolutely, we'd be more than happy to have a chat about these tools or Civil 3D with you guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.